You've probably heard about all of the hook tactics and all of the hacks that you can put into place. But what you've just got to think of is, will this make someone stop and listen or watch? What I like to do a lot of the time is just start hitting record when I'm making a video. Just like I've done today, just hit record and start talking away. What you'll sometimes find is the first, couple of seconds, the first couple of what would be paragraphs if it was written, are quite potentially crap. And the real gold starts somewhere in that messy middle. And it works really well sometimes to actually go through your video and pick a spot where you're mid talking about your subject. You're not doing the intro of, hey guys, hope you're well today, all of that stuff. We're over it. We are over it. I am absolutely guilty of this, and you'll find, every now and then if I just chuck a video out there, or if I've done a live, I'll start like that. Because when you are recording, when you start recording, it is more natural to start like that with your introduction, middle, finish. But our attention spans are about this long these days, especially if you're targeting a slightly younger generation. And those long waffly intros, they just don't work anymore. Clip out all of the intro stuff where you started to get what you wanted to say out, because the gold of what you wanted to say is probably somewhere in the middle. Have a think about that when you're editing. When you're recording, I do say just sit down and record. Because if you start trying to start a topic in the center or think too hard about your hook when you first turn that camera on, it might put you into that paralysis mode where you just sit there and you go, that's not a good hook, start again. That's not a good hook, start again. That wasn't right, start again. It doesn't work, because all that's doing is resetting your confidence again and again and again. So don't keep turning the camera on and off, trying to start with the perfect hook. Start just talking. Start just talking about what you want to say. Once you've recorded everything, once you've nailed the whole message, the whole whatever you wanted to say, topic, subject, whatever it is, to camera, you'll actually be able to go back through in editing and find where your hook should start. Ramble on. When you're recording, absolutely ramble on, because sometimes it's the rambles that come out with the most amazing bits of insight, because it's you chatting away conversationally. It takes you a second to warm up. And if it takes you a second to warm up and you're starting your video when you post it at the very beginning, where you were doing your intro before you'd warmed up, before you were in flow, that's not going to grab people's attention. The bit that's going to grab people's attention is probably a good 30 to 40 seconds into you talking, once you're on a roll. So, couple of things when you're looking out for your hooks. You can either look for the beginning of your story. So if you're telling a story, and I'm not talking about the once upon a time beginning of your story, I'm talking about the where did the actual meat of the story start? Where's a part in the story, in the beginning of the story, where people can go, oh, I want to know what happens next? Another trick with storytelling and hooks is to actually start somewhere in the middle. So you're starting somewhere in the middle. You haven't completely given them context, but you're starting somewhere where they go, hang on, what? They want to keep listening because they feel like they've missed something, because they have. And they want to hear more because we like closed loops. Our brains like a closed loop. We like to know what happened. We like to know what did we miss. We like to know the ending. So give them something that makes them want to keep listening. It's that curiosity thing, right? I like transcript-based editing because it makes this really, really easy. It makes it really easy to find your hooks. But go through your transcript and find where you've said something bold, or something that's a little bit out there, or something that is actually your opinion, not just popular opinion. So it could be, you don't need to be extroverted to be confident on camera. Then there's the relatable ones of, where people go, me too. So that could be, I've done a couple recently where I've gone, I re-recorded this 5 times. This is my 5th time recording this. And then I've kept going. And when people see that, they go, oh, me too. I had to re-record something like 3 times the other day. I get you. I feel you. That's so me. That's a hook right there. But this is where I would have started it. This is my 5th time recording this. See? I cut that down because the first part was me trying to organise my thoughts and my words in my head and my mouth. The second part was actually where it got good. So have a think about your hooks. Transcript-based editing, which we cover in the Descript modules, really helps with this because you can read through it to find your hooks. But if you go into your initial recording thinking I have to start with my recording with the perfect hook, no you don't. You just have to start your post with the perfect hook. And that's edited. Have a think about that next time you're recording. Don't always have to start with the fumbly start. You can start somewhere in the messy middle and you'll actually find a better hook.